Hi, this is Matt with Fablicator, and in this video I'm going to run you through the process of setting up your first print on the Fablicator MX dual head 3D printer. This is meant to show you the general 3D printing process and teach you some of the necessary basics when getting started. Additional videos can be found on our YouTube page, and with any questions we can always be contacted at technicalsupport@fablicator.com. In order to follow along with the video, you will need some materials from your startup kit, one of which is the primer solution. This needs to be made ahead of time by dissolving a baggie of ABS pellets in acetone overnight in a glass primer bottle. You will also need a spool of PLA filament, the spool holder and clip, and the scraper tool. On the front of the MX are 4 buttons. The left side holds the power button and the light button, which controls the LEDs. On the right side are the disable switches. XYZ disables the motors of the printer. This can be used to stop a print in its tracks, or it can be used to manually move the axes of the printer by hand when pressed. The lower disable switch is labeled EXT for extruder. This button will disable the drive wheel of the printer, preventing filament extrusion and allowing it to spin by hand. This can be used to load filament by hand into a cold extruder, or if you notice a problem with filament extrusion during a print. The MX has 4 printing options. Left extruder only prints with only a single extruder in the style of a single head printer. Copy mode will make 2 copies of the same object on the left and right side of the bed. With support mode, the right extruder can be used for a dedicated support material while printing a part with the left, making for a more easily removable support material and a nicer finished product. And with dual head mode, you can use both extruders to print a multicolored design. In this video, I'm just going to cover how to set up your initial print using the left extruder only setting in order to familiarize you with the printer. Check out our YouTube page for more videos on how to use the other print modes, and be sure to subscribe to our page to get updates on other videos as they show up. On the MX's workstation, the KissSlicer program is included for slicing your STL design files into G-code files. You can open KissSlicer from the desktop or from the taskbar below. For the purposes of this video, we're going to open up the Octopus file from the sample STL files folder on the desktop of the computer. Once opened, go into Single Material Sample Files and then Artistic Samples. Then scroll down to the octopus.stl file and double-click or hit Open below. To revolve around the model, hold down the right mouse button while moving the mouse. Use the center wheel to zoom in and out on the model. And to move 2-dimensionally from the angle you're looking from, hold down the left mouse button while moving the mouse. Next, we'll hit the Profile Settings button to bring up the Settings menu. You'll only need to pay attention to these first 4 tabs in here to make a G-code. The Printer tab is where you choose the print mode. For this print, we just want to have a single extruder, so we will choose left extruder only. Check out our YouTube page for videos on setting up prints with the other configurations. Next, we'll go into the Extruder Map tab where you choose the type of filament you're using from the list. I'll select PLA for the octopus print that we're doing here. The Support tab is where you would set up any support for your print. We won't use any here for the octopus, so those settings will be covered later in another video on our YouTube page. Lastly, we have the Style tab. This is where you can make changes to the infill density and layer thickness for your print. From the list, you can choose between the pre-configured settings. Coarse, medium, and fine represent the layer thickness settings. These correspond to the layer thickness setting down here, which is measured in millimeters per layer up from the bed, And as you can see, the value will change when I select different layer thicknesses. Solid, medium density, low density, and hollow represent the infill settings. These pre-configurations refer to the percentage that the object is filled. This corresponding sliding bar controls the infill setting and will change along with my choice from the menu. Lower infill settings use an internal structural pattern to support the shell of the model. For the octopus, I'm just going to use coarse low density, which will give us a fairly quick print. So now we're going to hit slice, and you can name your file and choose where you want it sliced to, then hit save. After your print is finished slicing, you can see the amount of time it will take right down here. From your printer's startup kit, grab your spool holder and clip. Attach the spool holder to the side of the machine. Now add the spool of PLA filament from the startup kit and then add the clip to keep it on the holder. Next, open the Fablicator program. Choose 215 degrees for the PLA filament we'll be using and then hit Set on the left extruder. Once the nozzle is heated, we'll extrude a small amount of filament to load it into the printer. If your printer has them, feed the filament through the filament out sensors on the way to the extruder. Hold the filament in place at the drive wheel and then hit extrude in the program once your nozzle is heated to full temperature. After it is finished extruding, turn off the heat to the nozzle. For a PLA only print like in this video, you will not need to use the panels provided in the startup kit. However, it is required for PET and ABS prints. To print the G-code file, open your G-code file in the Fablicator program. This could take a minute to load depending on the size of the file. While it loads, I'm going to come over to the printer and add the primer solution to the unheated bed. Now with the paper towel, using a swirling motion, spread it thinly and evenly across the surface of the bed. Be careful not to get any primer solution on the computer below. Now returning to the Fablicator program, hit print. The printer's axes will first home and then the extruders will lower to the bed. Once the bed and extruders are heated, the print will start. Be sure to always keep your hands free of the print area during a print to avoid injury. Once your print is complete, allow the bed to cool and naturally release your print rather than forcing it off. This avoids potential damage to the bed. Use the scraper tool to remove the part if it is still stuck. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see all our current and future videos on using your 3D printer.